there are new questions about the officer who started the chase and his connection to another high-profile incident.
A driver running from police died late last night after crashing his car in North City. The driver also hit a parked car with 5 people, including 2 children inside.
Chief investigative reporter Lauren Traeger is looking into how the police chase got started in the first place. And Lauren, according to your source, the officer's name is one we've heard before.
That is right, and lawsuits against the officer claim he has a history of misconduct. But when we asked about his involvement in this pursuit, even told his department that we'd be naming him, his employer, the North County Police Cooperative, told us they will not be commenting at this time.
He's not going to yell at me. That's causing a disturbance.
That's video from 2 years ago at Bar PM in St. Louis. A St. Louis police cruiser seen on video swerving, then crashing into the bar.
Yeah, look at this. Look at me.
But the department faced heavy criticism after the bar's owner was arrested. Charges recently dismissed, and his attorney has filed suit against the city and the officers.
We've seen the body cam videos. There's no breathalyzer given there. Instead, they immediately move to cover up what they did wrong by making the victims the bad guys here.
One officer named specifically in that suit, Ramel Wallace, not the driver of the cruiser, but an arriving officer who also put the bar owner's partner in handcuffs. The lawsuit claiming Wallace has a, quote, history of abusing citizens and writing, quote, with defendant Wallace's history of allegations of misconduct, it is incomprehensible that he is still allowed to be an officer. Wallace left the St. Louis Police Department in August 2024. But now First Alert 4 Investigates has learned he is employed at the North County Police Cooperative. And a source says Wallace was the officer who pursued this white sedan Sunday night. According to the St. Louis Police report, quote, the officer observed a white Ford Crown Victoria violate the red traffic light at that intersection. The Ford nearly struck the officer's vehicle while running the light. The officer followed the Ford and attempted a traffic stop on the vehicle. However, the driver, a 41-year-old man, fled from the officer. A pursuit was initiated. City detectives say they are still investigating, believing it was just the one co-op officer in pursuit.
That's part of the investigation. Right now, preliminarily, I believe it's just the one North County co-op officer involved in the pursuit. Okay. No St. Louis City officers involved, and the officer was not injured.
That driver of the white car has not been identified. 2 adults in the black SUV were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The 2 children in the car, police told us, were okay.
Now, we did want some more information from the co-op, but they deferred all questions to the city. The city has also not officially confirmed it was Officer Wallace involved. We have asked if there was video of the initial traffic violation and pursuit, and we are still waiting to hear back on that. We've officially requested it. We've also been unable to reach Wallace at this time. Now, he is facing an unrelated lawsuit against a citizen who claims Wallace attacked him in 2023. That suit, though, just filed in the last few weeks by the same law firm handling the Bar PM incident. This is all certainly a developing situation and one we will continue to track. I'm Lauren Traeger, First Alert 4 Investigates.